Musto006, we're back for part 11 of Mega Man 11. Last time, part 10, we beat the game, yay! Or at least we beat the main game. Pretty much just boss heavy, last part. Yeah, I did obviously split the Wily Gear Force into 2 bits. So last part was only stages 3 and 4, and yeah, boss rush and a final part with Wily. Very little level parts of the stages there. So yeah, pretty much just boss fights from start to finish. But oh well, yay, the game is beaten. But yeah, this is part 11, and it's the first of 2 extra videos that I'm going to be showing off because yeah, there are lots of bits and pieces additionally that I would like to show off. We're going to be looking at some of the challenges a bit later in this video. But first up, I thought I would actually just complete the shop. So yay, we're going to go do that. I guess I'll say first off that I'm doing this sort of post-commentary, because I didn't fancy recording this live and I sort of didn't quite know how long things were going to take. But anyway, yeah, post-commentary, not live, but still. What I wanted to do first off, before I actually, so you see it's gone muted now, I wanted to show off the shop when I first showed it off back in part 1. So I've muted it because I didn't want my voice on the original video, so me talking over me talking. But this is just to show off the prices that you can see here when I originally loaded up the shop. So yeah, back in the present.
Mega Man, I've made a breakthrough. I can now create new items for you.
Unfortunately, because we've collected new items, we're going to have to do that again to get the message I want.
The reactor's running unusually well today. We can create items for fewer bolts than usual.
Yes, I played this on a Saturday for the express purpose of getting some of the items reduced. So yes, the items you can see there in the sort of the orangey yellow colour are 20% off. So an extra life used to cost 50 screws, it's now 40, sorry. An M-Tank used to cost 300 screws, it now costs 240. So yeah, by playing on a Saturday, you get a 20% reduction. So yay! Anyway, onto the chips that I actually unlock just by completing the game. So I've got the Buster Plus chip, which increases the Mega Buster's energy output, makes shot a little bigger so they're more likely to hit enemies. This one wasn't a complete the game requirement, this was a one for shooting the Mega Buster 500 times, or 250 times on newcomer mode. But yeah, I'm playing with it pretty much without Roadmaster weapons, so shooting Mega Buster 500 times was always going to be achieved. We get the Awakener chip, which we get for beating the game. Unlocks some of Mega Man's hidden potential. All weapons can be used without expending weapon energy. Yeah, that's pretty broken. I'll come back to that in a minute. We get a bolt catcher, or screw catcher, which we actually unlock for playing on a Saturday, so it's another reason for me doing that. And makes bolts appear more frequently in stages. So yeah, play on a Saturday, get that available right at the beginning, and yeah, play to your heart's content, and hopefully you'll get a lot of bolts so you can unlock various items. The other item I get for completing the game was the Cooling System Infinity, which allows you to use the Speed Gear and Power Gear without filling your gear gauge. So yeah, the cooling system and the Awakener chip, pretty much game breaking, I'd say. They just, yeah, well, I mean, obviously you only get them when you clear the game, but yeah, it's sort of like the New Game Plus mode where they just want to say, you know what, go have fun. One thing I want to get another easily unlockable one is to buy the energy balancer. So we know what the energy balancer does. That just means it refills you know, lowest weapon energy without having to actually select it when you pick up a weapon capsule. So yeah, I'm going to actually just buy the energy balancer, because in doing so, if we then exit the shop and go back in again,
I've made a breakthrough. I can now create new items for you.
we now have available the Energy Balancer Neo, which recharges all weapon gauges when you pick up a weapon capsule. And yeah, that's kind of broken and pretty cheap for only for buying the energy balancer. So yeah, the unlockable requirement for that is to purchase the energy balancer. And yeah, they're pretty cheap. I think it's 100 for the energy balancer and 250 for that. So only 350 bolts, screws, whatever, needed to actually unlock or actually buy something that will refill all your weapon energy when you collect a gauge. Anyway, to unlock some of the other ones, we're gonna go back into Tundra Man stage, home of awesome music, the accidental perfect run. But most importantly, a set of spikes right at the beginning that I can jump on and immediately die. So yeah, I've got 6 lives I'm going to have to get rid of initially, and yeah, once we see a death here, I'll explain what I'm basically doing. I'm not going to show you the whole lot here because this will take an enormous amount of time, but basically on all these 6 goes before we get to the game over, I was basically just toggling on and off the speed gear as many times as I possibly could before the actual gauge became full, and obviously it would need recharging. And then once that had happened, I was just moving to the moving over to the right hand side of the screen into those handily placed spikes. Yeah, those spikes at the beginning of the screen are probably the easiest way to die on any stage right off the bat. So yeah, Tundra Man stage makes that a good choice for doing all these little bits of challenges and such like that. So yeah, off those 6 lives, as I say, toggling the speed gear on and off and dying on the spikes.
I've made a breakthrough. I can now create new items for you.
Okay, Mega. What'll it be?
We get the Pierce Protector, which means spikes will not deal damage or kill you instantly. Hitting spikes once uses up a Pierce Protector, saving you from a potential death. So you actually can buy 3 of these. And again, it's the game's way of saying, oh, we notice you're dying a lot on spikes. Here, have a Pierce Protector. That might make things a little bit easier for you. And the game will do that constantly throughout, and I'll talk about that when we get to other items. But yeah, it's sort of like you look like you suck. You look. Here's some help in the speed gear booster. Allows you to move around at normal speed while using the speed gear. Yeah, incredibly broken. Basically, when you use the speed gear, you sort of slow down a little bit. That bit you're at normal speed. Incredibly powerful. That one actually unlocks for activating the speed gear 50 times. And we get here the cooling system, which provides more efficient heat removal, so the gear gauge recharges faster. That requirement, sorry, the speed gear one was activate speed gear 50 times or 25 times on newcomer mode, and the cooling system here one was activating the gear system 100 times or 50 on newcomer mode. Again, it's sort of completely redundant once you've got the cooling system Infinity, although admittedly it does cost 10 times more. Yeah, that's. It's still helpful, I guess, obviously for if you can't afford the real thing. And sorry, the Pierce Protector one was dying to spikes 5 times. So I actually need to do that 4 times because I died once during my Let's Play on Gear Fortress Stage 1 by the spike drop, which I'm never ever going to get over ever. That was awful. So yeah, it meant I only had to die on 4 more times. But yeah, so some of them are very easy to unlock, and some of them you might well find again the speed gear activated or the gear system activated. Not me because I wasn't playing the game that way, but. Specifically, but most first-time players, I'm imagining, are probably going to unlock a lot of these as they go through normally. Not this one so much. So I've got a bit of time. This is going to take a bit of while just to cycle through once to talk about some of the other unlockables that also the ones that were already available at the beginning. But yeah, to explain what I'm doing here. This is all to go after one that unlocks the Capsule Catcher for depleting your weapon or rush energy 30 times. Yeah, 30 times, and not even any more generous on newcomer mode. So basically all I'm doing is switching between all the weapons, including rush, and just trying to basically get rid of all my weapon energy as quick as possible. I actually do an absolutely atrocious job here with the acid barrier. I didn't quite appreciate at this point in time for some reason, but the best thing to do would be to put the acid barrier on and then jump into an enemy to immediately remove it. So yeah, all this takes a bit of time. You actually can use, I'd recommend trying to use the power gear where you can as well. That will obviously mean that you end up using up more weapon energy. When you fire it off, because obviously the power gear one's more powerful. At some point in time, I'm hoping to actually twig on finally. Yes, so actually the best thing to do is just put the acid barrier on and jump into an enemy. But yeah, this is somewhat tedious, particularly for me, since I've got to do this 30 times. And I say I don't really use master weapons, or indeed get to the point where I'm fully depleting an energy bar. But yeah, all you're basically doing here is just mucking around depleting your energy. So while that's going on, I'll talk about some of the other chips that were available from the start that I didn't really talk about. So apart from the standard extra lives, E-tanks, weapon tanks, and all that, M-tanks, and all that jazz, we had quite a few available right at the start. So we had an auto charge chip. We also had Eddy and Beat, which allows you to. Eddy will call a random item during the stage to give you a power up. Usually for me, it's a small weapon rather than large health or anything like that. But that's just the way that goes for me. Beat as well, who can save you from pits when you fall into them, so he'll fly up and save you from pits. But we also had an auto charge chip, which pretty much, as you guess, auto charges the Mega Buster. So no need to hold down the charge button or the automatic charge. We had Spike Boost, which are not the Spike Protector or anything like that. The Spike Boosts are actually for less slipping on icy surfaces, so aka Thunderman stage. We had the Shock Absorber, which negates recoil from high-powered Mega Buster shots, which can be a thing, although I don't tend to use the high-powered Mega Buster shots all that much. We had an energy dispenser, which reduces your energy gauge, but enables the double gear system to be double gear thing to be always available. So you don't have to be low down and almost about to die in order to activate the double gear, which is the powerful, obviously, speed and power sort of combined. So that can be very helpful. We had a mystery chip, which means that you get a bonus if you complete the stage in a short amount of time, which is interesting. Possible for speed runs and stuff like that, although I don't know whether it's actually more effort to collect bolts and buy that thing rather than just playing normally, so possibly not. A Buddy Call Plus, which increases the amount of Eddy and Beat calls that you can hold or you can use, and a tank container, which, as you might expect, increases the number of or E and W. I'm not sure about the M tanks actually, but certainly E and W. M tanks will be much more powerful if you can hold more of those. But anyway, Another 3 times emptying of all weapon energy, and 8 game overs later, without making you sit through all that. Yeah, I didn't need to fully deplete my weapon gauges and fully another 3 times, because 9 times 3 would be rush, and 8 weapons would be 27. So 9 times 3 would be 27. So I had to do another 3, but I thought I'd do more anyway. And I had 2 game overs up to that point in time. One where I was dying on all the spikes, and then one where I was doing something else dying. I can't remember what I was doing for that, but anyway, 2 game overs, so that was me bringing up to 3. And I was assuming that we might have been done, but unfortunately not. There was still 1 item left I hadn't got, but oh well. Anyway, we got the energy catcher, which makes energy pellets appear more frequently in stages. That one I got from game overing 10 times. So yeah, again, the game's saying, you seem to be sucking quite a lot. You're getting a lot of game overs. Here, have some more energy. This is throughout the stages. And equally, the capsule catcher make weapon capsules appear more frequently in stages. So again, your game telling you, your weapon economical, or your weapon economy is absolutely terrible. We're just using it way too much. So yeah, have some more weapon energy to help out with that. I was fully expecting to have unlocked everything by that point in time, but somehow it's almost somewhat of a testament to how well I think my Let's Play went. Because yeah, basically the last one, as you'll see, I tried to do a couple of sort of deaths like I'm doing here. I'd actually need to do another 2 game overs in order to get this. I tried obviously doing 1 game over where I was simply doing this, so I lost 3 lives. It still didn't unlock. Thankfully, after 2 game overs it did, so I didn't have to muck around with this too much longer. But yeah, the final one unlocks by getting hit 200 times. So based on all the times I got hit just mucking around, depleting weapon energy, dying on spikes, all that things, still didn't unlock it, and that was on top of all the gameplay that I did during the regular Let's Play. So finally, after 2 more game overs and just randomly getting hits to or dying by getting hit to all the 2 enemies rather than dying on the spikes, which obviously is 1-hit KO, we finally unlocked the power shield, which lessens the amount you are pushed back when you take damage. That one's sort of less so on a sort of you tend to be sort of sucking kind of thing, because the knockback, I guess it might knock you into pits more, but that's going to be an instant death rather than you taking damage. That one, I think, perhaps is less linked, if you will, to actually doing a terrible job with getting hit. But anyway, there you go. And one little final fun thing to end with.
Are you sure? 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 Already.
Which, of course, I unfortunately messed up on by going off to the next page or whatever, rather than doing that. But yeah, the adorable sort of roll at her adorable best when you sort of mass buy items. And Extra Life is obviously the one that you can do that the most with. Yeah, are you sure? Ta-da! Are you sure? Ta-da! Love that. That's a really, really nice, adorable touch. And that is the shop. Hopefully I've shown off everything. I think I've explained how to unlock everything. I think I've gone through all the items that are available at the start, what they do and such like that. So yeah, probably a bit of a quick whistle-stop tour through the shop. And I say, I haven't bought all the items and played around with them and shown them off. But yeah, hopefully you get the gist of what all the items do. So yay. That's part 1 of this video, I guess. The shop out of the way in terms of the extras. And part 2 is going through some of the challenges. Not all of them. I'll save one of them, or one specific thing, for another extra video. But yeah, there are various bits and pieces you can do here. As you can see here, time attack, jump saver, buster breakdown, score attack, balloon rush, medal collector, playground, boss rush, and Dr. Light's trial. And I will be saving Dr. Light's trial for next time. But yeah, I'm not going to do time attack or score attack. I don't feel like time attack, just get to the stage as quick as possible. Score attack, pretty much the same. Defeat enemies and collect all the points you can. The extra points for defeating multiple enemies in a row. There's probably like a very good farming spot in each stage where you can literally just stand there for 5 or 6 minutes, just repeatedly kill enemies and then make your way to the end. I don't think that's particularly interesting to necessarily show off, similar with time attack, but we will be showing off all the other ones. So the first one we're showing off is jump saver. Get to the boss area using as few jumps as possible. So I haven't done all of these, as you can see. Basically, I've only sort of done bare minimum sort of here. This achievement, by the way, you need to get gold standard by jumping for 50 times or fewer over the time limit of 12 minutes. So very generous time limit. But yeah, I've not done all of these by any stretch of imagination. I haven't been barely even played any of these. Frankly, I've done one of each kind of one to just kind of get a bit of a feel from a show off. By the way, these are all replays as well. So this is obviously I played this from quite some time ago, and yeah, you're seeing a replay of how I did it. I think this one is very interesting to show off in terms of like trying to find ways of getting through stages without jumping. So you saw there at the beginning, rather than take a few jumps to get up those blocks there, I used one jump to get onto Rush Coil, and then used Impact Man's Pile Driver to whiz through the screen and actually obviously get through and progress without jumping. So yeah, I think this is definitely worth showing off as a sort of extra way of getting through. And also particularly on ladders here, just sort of having to stifle myself a little bit, not try and jump up to avoid myself, taking a bit of a shortcut on the ladder. Just, yeah, make sure we don't do that. Get up to the ladder as it's on the floor and just climb up from the floor. Do not jump. Obviously, again, that's a completely wasted jump. And again, here, train myself not to do that. There are obviously certain things where you're going to have to make a jump. Here, for example, you'd think you might have to make 2 jumps, but if you're very clever, what you can do, if you can get it positioned right, is get Rush Coil down there, land on him, so you're not actually jumping, and then again use Pile Driver to climb to get up to the ladder. So yeah, what looks like you might actually need 2 jumps in there in order to clear it, or possibly just maybe 1 if you were thinking Rush Jet. But you can actually do that with no jumps by some clever manipulation of Rush Coil and the Pile Driver. And similarly again here. Do find that you're going to use Pile Driver probably quite a bit in these kind of levels. So I guess the thing there to bear in mind is conserve your weapon energy for there where you can. Something I didn't show off very much, obviously, or indeed at all, as we were going through the levels because I was using the Mega Buster only, is how weak the mid-bosses are to the weapons. And as I said, they're typically weak to the weapon that's good on the Rope Master. So Blockman, as we all know by now, is weak to Blastman's Chain Blast. So too is that mid-boss. Totem, I think his name was. So yeah, this is, as opposed to, for example, Time Attack and Score Attack, which I don't think really add an extra sort of element to the game, particularly Time Attack. All that is, frankly, just going through the stages as I have done normally and trying to do them quicker. Yes, admittedly, there is a little bit extra where I'm obviously not going to stop to shoot enemies. There might be particular times where I'm just deliberately going to tank a hit and all that kind of thing. But I think in terms of showing off something particularly new, I really don't feel like Time Attack and Score Attack do that particularly, or there's particularly much to show off there. But the other ones definitely do, and I do want to show those off. Including, of course, some new tricks and bits and pieces that I never got around to even describing or showing off during the Let's Play. And one of those being that Chain Blast can destroy those block obstacles, which is really, really interesting. And yeah, obviously for speedrunning and stuff like that, a definite must. But yeah, even just for getting through here, they can get through. You can take them out without the need for jumping whatsoever. So yeah, take advantage of that where absolutely possible. You're gonna have to expend an enormous amount, or quite a few jumps actually, to get through the blocks there. If you don't destroy them. So yeah. This one again, trying to be very careful here not to jump on ladders, jump and shoot quite so much. So again, Thunderstorm is a helpful kind of friend in this instance, where you can sort of like mass kill enemies, or indeed with certainly the Power Gear as well, take out all enemies on the screen without having to worry about them. Typically, you sort of want to. These lyrics, for example, are particularly kind of annoying. So what I'd want to do here normally is not like jump up and to fake them out, but no, I'm sort of locked into like the slow burn here, where I'm like waiting for them to get to my level and then making my move. So yeah. Acid Barrier, I think, is a very good idea here. I probably did maybe a couple or so jumps here, more than I would actually need to, but yeah, Power Gear, Acid Barrier for that section really helps, because a lot of enemies that could just like knock you into pits and such like that, I haven't really found I'm sure there are. I mean, one really good thing about these useful weapon bands you pick up there, about these things as well, is you can go to the leaderboards and actually see how the masters of these challenges have done it. So yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, some of the skills they exhibit is just absolutely amazing. Here is actually a scene of probably one of my biggest improvements, because what I didn't even realise I was doing as I was sort of going through on some of the earlier runs was making tiny hops while I was on that conveyor belt there, not even like fully appreciating. Oh, I'm in the jump challenge. Which is absolutely awful, but yeah, so I just constrained myself there not to jump. I also managed to take out that enemy that we saw, the Evil Eddie there, so I didn't manage it in the Let's Play, it was too slow to actually get it, but I'm pleased I was able to play Blockman's level again here and actually show off that actually happening, so yay. Again, obviously in certain areas like this, there's not much you can do about it, you're going to have to use jumps, but I mean, 50 sounds like a lot, but actually in Blockman stage, I felt this was quite a difficult challenge, I actually figured the jumping one's probably going to be difficult in most of them. I haven't even really tried much of the other ones, but I figured actually, particularly with this trick, with the, destroying the walls here in this section, I thought that was going to be a really good shortcut to kind of get through very quickly without having to worry about jumping. And thankfully, I did have just enough chain blast left to actually destroy them there. If I hadn't had that like one little bit there and enough to destroy that, that would have been absolutely awful. So I had to expend obviously quite a few jumps in order to get through that. So having that little tiny bit of energy there was really, really helpful. Yeah, I'm not sure I've got too much else to kind of say about this. It's all about just trying to figure out ways of getting through. As you can see, sort of see here, this is probably one of the few times I got this far through the stage. I was fairly sure I was close to the end there, so I didn't have to be sort of that worrisome about my jumps kind of here. Obviously, not go crazy. Particularly on these conveyor belts, the typical thing you might want to do is sort of like jump to kind of stall things out. But here, yeah, try not to do that. Don't want to get this close to the end and waste jumps unnecessarily. But yeah, as for taking damage, such like that, not really paying too much attention to that at the moment. Putting far more precedent on just not jumping. So again, here with these lyrics, obviously, normally I could use a special weapon, obviously take them out, and I think I do with this last little one. But actually, no, I decided to use Rush Jet and bypass a lot of this section, timing it out with the blocks as best I could. And this actually seemed to work out pretty nicely. Got past a fair chunk of the level there as well. So yeah, obviously one of the keys here is weapon economy. If you're going to be using Rush Core and Rush Jet a fair amount, stupid friggin' shield enemies, I hate them. If you're going to be using Rush Core and Rush Jet a lot, and indeed Impact Man's Pile Driver, yeah, where you can get weapon pickups, then yeah, try and get a refill those as best you can. Or I suppose potentially also, I'd say Tundra Man's obviously Tundra Storm is obviously a really good one as well for like screen clear. Chain Blast on this screen on this level would also have been a good idea, because obviously he was very close to running out and having indeed now have run out of that. So yeah, it's all about just thinking about which weapons you want to conserve and when you want to use them. There might be times where you think, oh, actually, I could have used Pile Driver there, but actually, maybe it's better saved for another point in time where I could, not expend as many jumps. So, yeah, there's some very clever thinking to this in terms of thinking, oh yeah, okay, this point in time, okay, fine, I'll sacrifice a jump here, but in this case, no, actually, there's a far better way of doing things. So, yeah, one of the things in most of the challenges you don't have to do is actually clear the boss. So, yeah, it'll actually make you fight Blockman at the end of that stage. Just, yeah, get to the boss area, and yay. Probably wasn't brilliant, but yeah, 46 jumps, 7 minutes, so I still had tons of time to spare. But yeah, 46 obviously, probably not brilliant. I've no idea how far that is off the record, but yeah, certainly good enough to get the goal. I reckon the sort of the record's probably like in the 20s or even below 20 or something like that. I have no idea, but yeah, it's a fun kind of challenge. Just obviously makes you think about a different way of getting through the stage. So, Buster Breakdown, another interesting one. Get to the boss area using as few attacks as possible. So, for the most part, I've done, as I say, pretty much just one stage on each of these, and I've tried to go for the one where I figured, again, Blockman stage, I thought that was probably going to be one of the easier ones to get through with the lack of jumping, and Tundra Man stage I thought was going to be one of the easiest ones, certainly to get through without needing to shoot very much. As you can see here, the gold standard is 15 with a time limit of 12 minutes. I've actually only used 4 shots and done it in under 3.5 minutes. So, the record for this one, I did look this one up, I was curious, is 1. So, I'm a little way off that, but still. But yeah, I think this is just actually an incredibly easy stage to get through without necessarily needing to take so much damage, but without needing to do too much shooting. I figure like most of the other ones, there's lots of times where enemies are just all over the place, and it would be really hard to get through the level without actually shooting. Whereas a Tundra Man stage, for the most part, yeah, there's a bit of mucking around here, and I still cleared it in under 3.5 minutes, and that was sort of mucking around, even sort of manipulating these floating enemies here, sort of trying to get through. Again, I didn't necessarily have to do that. I could have just conserved, just gone for it. But I figure, okay, if I'm not shooting, I might end up tanking damage a bit later on. I want to have as much help as possible. The time limit of 12 minutes, for example, is extremely generous. Let's actually spend that little bit of time mucking around in order to make, to try and make sure that I don't take damage needlessly. Because I still think I'd be fairly confident even so. But yeah, why not where possible? Just yeah, avoid taking damage as much as possible. Because yeah, there's definitely places in time where I start thinking about tanking hits. This screen, for example, being one of them, I really couldn't be bothered mucking around trying to figure out how on earth to do that. Could also take some shortcuts where possible. Why not? Again, not worried about jumping here from this one, for example. Not worried about rush use, by the way, doesn't count as well. So if you're thinking a bit like, for example, the depleting shot thing about depleting weapon energy, including rush. Rush does not count in this challenge for actually using weapon energy, which I guess makes sense. Rush really isn't a weapon. But oh well, yeah. Rush Core and Rush Jet can be used, certainly the shortcut things, to avoid enemies. And yeah, it actually doesn't count as well as actually shooting or using weapon energy. mecha mammoth thing is weak, pretty much like Thunderman is to Fuse Man's weapons and Scramble Thunder. As you can see there, what I just did was basically just use the power gear and fire four Scramble, powered up Scramble Thunders into it, and that is all the shots I used in this stage. As I say, I think the record is 1. I did look up how they did it. They used like a power geared bounce ball, I think, by reflecting it back into the icicle or something like that. It's very, very cleverly done. And yeah, they've managed to get through using just the one hit. But as I say, I'm not interested in getting to the top of the leaderboard or anything like that. I wouldn't anyway, because they clear the stage far quicker than I would. So that would mean that they'd get a better time, they'd get a better record just by being a lot faster than me. But yeah, I'm not overly interested in that. So I'm more than happy with my 4 hits. Thank you very much. But yeah, the very clever way of doing it in one hit is to use the bounce ball to when against the icicles, the powered up bounce ball, against the icicles, so they all sort of just knock straight back into the enemy, off the icicle into his face. It's, yeah. Anyway, as I say, taking some hits on that screen, just not too bad. I knew I was obviously very close to the end of the level here, so the health is really not a concern at this point in time. So yeah, provided I don't just mess up now horribly in getting past this extreme wind section. And I think I might even actually manage to pull off the yes, I do. We pull off the energy tank and extra life. Not that it means anything in challenge mode whatsoever, but yeah, there you go. I thought it was a really fun one, like the jump one, where you have to kind of get through the stage thinking, okay, how can I be more economical with my jumps? Here you're obviously thinking about, okay, how can I be more economical with my shots? Where do I tank the hits and whatnot? For the most part, you probably realistically only want to be taking down the mid-boss. I'm assuming all the records in these stages are pretty much just for beating the mid-boss, because you're going to have to attack those. But yeah, other than that, Thunderman stage I thought actually was a very good candidate for getting through it quickly and actually not needing to take out many other, or indeed any other enemies other than the mid-boss. So yay. Moving on to the next one, Balloon Rush. Run through the stage and attack the blue balloons. If you hit the red balloons or miss the blue balloons, you'll get a time penalty. Any hit will burst a balloon. Use your Mega Buster or just run into them. Sorry, yeah, I did this one on Fuse Man stage. I actually think this is probably one of the most fun ones of the lot. You have to be very quick, so 4 minutes here was the gold standard line. It almost did clear the level in 3 minutes, although you have got a time of 12 minutes to get through. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really fun one to get through. I'm actually excited to kind of go through all the other stages and actually do this. But yeah, again, something completely kind of different. So yeah. Basically, I'm pretty sure all the enemies in the stage, almost all of them, are completely gone. Mid-boss, I think. No, I think the mid-boss is gone. No, mid-boss is gone as well. When I say enemies, I unfortunately don't mean sort of stage obstacles, so we do have to worry about these electric barriers here. And I'm taking this very slow so that I don't take a hit from the electric barriers and get knocked back into a red balloon. So yeah, but this is a really interesting one. As I said, you need to collect all the blue balloons on the screen, avoid touching the red ones. I sort of played this quite so much to the point where I was, again, using speed gear actually to my advantage, just to get through a bit quicker. Not necessary at all, but yeah, you sort of get into a rhythm with these types of things. There's also, I just completely spaced on the fact, don't think it really mattered too much there, actually. The one about the fact you could just shoot them. But yeah, I could have obviously gone to the right-hand side and shot back at that one. Like here, for example, I could have shot those 2 balloons by staying on the left-hand side, just below the first, or just below where the things actually start jolting into the electric barriers. I could have just stood on the left-hand side and shot them. But yeah, but for whatever reason, I just sort of completely spaced on the fact that, oh, you can actually shoot the blue balloons. I was literally collecting all of them. This one here, example, again, I decided to take a hit here so I could actually touch that one, and I did it there because I didn't want to sort of take a hit. Take 2 hits there and get knocked back and possibly into a red balloon as well. So, but of course, the sensible thing to do would just be to stop in the middle and shoot at the thing. So yeah, I could have done this a lot better. I just unfortunately completely spaced on the fact that yeah, you actually shoot the damn balloons. So, but anyway, it is a really fun challenge, and yeah, again, just a completely different way of getting through the level. So all the enemies are removed. I think we've seen a single enemy. As I said, we've got some stage obstacles, we've got the electric barriers and such like that. But yeah, all the enemies, as far as I can tell, have been completely removed. So, yay. If you're thinking I've got the bounce ball ready for the mid-boss, though I haven't, I've just got it ready in order to hopefully take out shoot upwards and take out all these blue balloons quickly. As I say, again, you do need to make sure you hit all the blue balloons on the screen. You miss one, then you'll get a time penalty. And yes, do your utmost, obviously, not to hit a red balloon. The time penalties are not like absolutely awful, but obviously if you're going to gold standards, I mean, I think I could have quite easily missed a blue balloon here, or maybe even touched a couple of red balloons and still got it. But yeah, obviously I'm trying to go for perfection as much as possible here in terms of trying to get through without touching a red balloon or missing one. I mean, they'd be fairly clumsy to do so anyway. But yeah, no, these are I think these stages are really fun. And yeah, what else can I say about them? They are. I'm really looking forward to doing all these ones. It sort of seems like I've gone for the stages that I'd actually. I don't know what I sort of felt off the bat they would be the easiest ones to do, but I can't help but notice that I've gone for the ones with all the awesome music in them. Or at least from my perspective anyway. Not that they're not all really good, all probably really good tracks, such like that, but I've just noticed that the jump challenge I did Blockman, the shooting challenge I did Tundra Man, and for the Blue Get challenge I've done Fuse Man. My three favourite Roadmaster stages, but music-wise, by an absolute mile. So, yeah, don't think that's just sort of... yeah, I don't think I've deliberately done that, but isn't it great that it worked out that way, at least for me anyway. Obviously don't know what your favourites are, but yeah, for me at least those are three are my standout favourites, and yeah, wouldn't you know it, Block, Tundra and Fuse for those three challenges. So yeah, that's a really fun one. I'm looking forward to going back and doing other ones on that when the time comes. I obviously thought I'd have more to say here on this one, because I lingered on this on this screen for a bit longer than needed. Anyway, moving on. Medal Collector. Race to collect all 8 medals. Don't leave any of them behind, otherwise you'll get sent back. So, I guess this one's probably maybe not necessarily as interesting as the other ones. So, I've done this one on Blastman stage, as you can see here, with a gold rank time of 3.5 minutes, and I did it in just over 2.5, so again, fairly quick through. But yeah, basically just trying to get through the level again. Not much has changed. So we obviously you can see we are going to have all the enemies and such to deal with. But yeah, you can see 8, or hopefully you can see 8 little boxes up in the top right hand side of the screen. Those are basically our medals that we're going to have to collect. And basically, you can see our first one here. Icons that we're going to need to collect while going through the stage. I decided to use speed gear there because for the life of me, whenever I tried to just do that, collect that one, and go back to and go to the right hand side without taking a hit, I just couldn't do it. The bleeding the explosion just always caught up with me. So yeah, you can also see here I'm starting to get a little bit kind of again from this almost the necessity of from playing the stage over and over again to try and get a really good time in just to beat the thing. I was sort of getting a lot better at thinking, okay, now I can use weapon energy use. Not even going to the pause menu for that one either. Actually using it via the just the automatic kind of weapon selection or the toggling kind of thing. So yeah, but yeah, a lot of use of rush jetting I think in particular in this stage because a lot of the ones are in really kind of equal positions. Again, I didn't trust the second one with in that screen with the extra life. I didn't trust that one there with the platform that rises up. It's one you use rush jet to get through. We do have a mid-boss, and this is a curious one, because I was not expecting this thing to be weak to Thunderstorm. 3 mega fully power-geared Thunderstorms take that out, but I was expecting it to be weak to what the hell is his name? Wow! Torchman's weapon, good grief. Because obviously Blastman is, but yeah, the Torchman's weapon does not seem to do a very good job whatsoever on those things. Thunderman's Thunderstorm does a far better job, so yeah, that was actually very unexpected when I was sort of coming to first play it, and I was like, okay, these are not dying very quickly. Let's try to experiment with a few other ones, but yeah, oh well. Thunderstorm seems to work really nicely on that. Speed gear I'd recommend here just obviously to try and get that icon before the blocks start exploding and taken away. So this one's actually very straightforward. You could easily get that one without needing to stunt or use speed gear to slow time down. So that one's actually pretty straightforward. As you can see, whizzing through the level fairly nicely. I must say, I can pretty much get through the end in 2.5 minutes. So yay. Yeah, this one's is just really all about going a little bit off the beaten path where you perhaps wouldn't normally go to collect these icons. So yeah, again, we never normally go over there. We'll just use rush it to get over there quickly. Not bothered about taking the hit. I know I was very close to the end of the level, very close to finishing this off. Take a hit from that giant Mecha Joe or whatever his name is. So yeah, just where you can, tank hits and move through quickly. Speed gear there, just because I didn't want to get hit by a projectile or have the blocks explode on me. And one unfortunate last mess up there on the end. I say mess up, I got through fairly quickly, but yeah, thanks Shimobi, I really needed to get knocked back there when I was about to jump on Rush Coil up to collect the final icon. Thanks, that was fantastic. But anyway, still, even with a few probably slip-ups and not being as quick as I could be, yeah, 2.5 minutes to get through, so almost a minute quicker than I actually needed to. So yeah, those ones, perhaps you say, they're probably maybe the least interesting one after the score attack and the time attack, but it's a very short one, 2.5 minutes. I suppose admittedly the time attack would have been anyway, but nah, I thought it was worth showing off. Anyway, 3 last things we're going to do. Playground. Complete challenges within the time limit. Challenges cleared in playground mode won't be uploaded to the leaderboard. I'm not going to go through all the mid-boss speed runs, nor am I going to go through the boss rush either. I mentioned obviously time attack and score attack a fair few times now, but I'm not going to do boss rush either. But yeah, there are 3 challenges in here that are probably worth showing off. There's some buy and bounce one, so attack the buy and keep it in the air. Don't let it touch the ground or fall in the pits. You have a time limit of 1 minute, and you have to keep get it in the keep it in the air for 20 hits to get the gold standard. And as you can see here, I've just got 21, so just about done it. I haven't sort of tried to go, but frankly, I've got real no desire to do it. To like try and get a super duper score or anything like that. But frankly, the best way, this is going to go by very quickly, but obviously, by the way, I think the best way to do it, frankly, is just get the bounce ball out and just keep shooting upwards when it looks like it's going to go down to the ground. You can get multiple hits when it's up on the screen as well, on top of the screen, sometimes even when it's off screen, such like that. So yeah, I think a bounce ball here is a very good way to go and easily get it. So, well, I say easily, this still took a fair few goes actually, so I'm still missing the darn thing. You do get 3 tries per go, by the way, as well there, so obviously I'll have to beat having got it on the first attempt. I just, shot it to cancel out the last 2 because yeah, I've already got it and didn't fancy spending any more time on it. Obviously, it could have improved on 21, but frankly, again, I've got no real desire to improve that anymore. I've got my gold standard. I'll just take that and move on. Thank you very much. And again, lingering on here because I was probably thinking I had more to talk about. Anyway, tank oven panic. Race to get the tank oven as far as you can. Dodge enemy projectiles while moving the tank oven forward using only your Mega Buster. So we have a minute to get it as far as possible. We need to get 90 meters to get gold standard, and this was actually legitimately my first attempt. I figured this was going to be very straightforward. All you really have to do is not shoot so quickly in quick succession. So again, you'll notice I'm not peppering this thing so quickly. I don't want 3 bullets to sort of ricochet off, and then I won't be able to shoot for a while. So I'm sort of pausing a little bit between shooting. But yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I could have done obviously a lot better than this, but I'm taking a few hits here and there. But for the most part, I think the enemies from above are pretty easy to avoid. The fire lantern thing is pretty easy to avoid. The acid thing there kind of, I think, either got me or maybe I ran into the tank, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, obviously I'm pausing to take out a few homing things. So these traffic cones, for example, that obviously would linger on screen for a lot longer. I don't want those hanging around, kind of circling me and hitting me. So yeah, I'm being selective with what I'm trying to take out and what I'm just kind of leaving be. But yeah, I'm trying not to shoot too gung-ho and just keep shooting at this tank to force it backwards. It's yeah, this was my first go. I obviously generally thought this was going to be quite straightforward. I passed 90 meters there with about 10 seconds to go. Again, I could go back and try and obviously clear this and try and get it as far, and try and do it further. But again, I'm not interested in getting top of the leaderboard. There's no way I would do anyway. I'm just not skilled enough to do it. And yeah, I'm more than happy with 15 meters off, 16 meters over the gold standard on my first go. So yeah, that was a first go out, and I probably don't have too much desire to go back and do that one again. So yeah, fairly straightforward, frankly. I did it on my first go. And I think pretty much the last thing we're going to show off in this video is one-hit wonders. Destroy frozen enemies one after another. To catch, you can only destroy them using the weapon they're weak against. Switch fast and defeat as many as you can. 20 to kill with gold standard, and I've got 22 in a 1 minute time limit. This challenge is, wow, is an absolute bugger to pull off. So as we go into it, again, there's all these raw replays. I'll just obviously describe what's going on here. So an enemy appears. It'll start off in the bottom right hand corner. You want to switch weapons, and again, I'm using probably the sort of the stick here rather than even the toggling items like the shoulder buttons. I'm using the right stick or whatever to quickly switch between weapons. But yeah, an enemy appears, starts on the right hand screen, then it appears on the left hand screen, the side of the screen. You want to switch weapons as quick as you can. And use it on the one that they're weak to. Typically, they are the ones that appear in screens and in the stages they're in. So not always. So, for example, that thing is in Bounce Man stage. It's weak to Impact Pile Driver, as is the balloon. That thing is in Impact Man stage, so it's weak to Acid Barrier, because that's what Impact Man is weak to. It doesn't always seem to work out that way, and there are also some duplicate enemies that appear in multiple screens, like the bunnies, for example, so it's never quite clear where I can tell which kind of bunny it is. Is it the Ice Bunny that appears in Thunder Man stage, so it'd be weak to the Scramble Thunder? Is it one of the other bunnies that appears in other stages? So yeah, there are some duplicates and such like that, so this isn't all immediately straightforward, but yeah, you need to switch blooming quickly, have good reflexes, and and probably learn what the weapon weaknesses are. But I say they're not always the weapon weakness. I'm trying to figure out which stage they appear in. Some of them only appear in one stage anyway, but I say the ones that appear in multiple stages are a bit tricky. Think about which Relic Master weapon is good on the boss on that, and then typically that is what is good on those enemies, but it's not always the case. And yeah, that is a very frantic, hectic challenge, and I'm going to, full disclosure, that was the cheating way of doing it, or how that replay there didn't actually show up how I actually achieved that 22. This is basically how I did this challenge. I'm actually kind of impressed at or pleased that somehow that the replay doesn't show this, but yeah, this was what I was doing. I just don't believe, and you'll see, you'll actually see at the end of this, I actually don't even get the gold standard. I mean, I wasn't going to sit here and do this again till I did it, because I thought I could have taken ages. I actually only got 19 here, so I would have missed it by 1. But what I'm doing here is pausing the game so I can get to once the enemy's appeared, the timer doesn't run down, so I've got a bit more time to think, oh, for example, this enemy, it's the spine. I think that appears most in Blockman stage, although it does actually appear in other ones. So its weakness is Chain Blast, because that's Blockman's weakness. This actually isn't one, I think. This is the one that appears in, for example, Torchman stage. So in theory, it should be weak to Thunderstorm, but it isn't. It's weak to Chain Blast. This again, these shield hacker enemies appear in multiple stages. So which one is this appearing? Which one is this weak to? It actually is weak to Impact Man's Pile Driver. So this is what I'm doing, and this is how I achieved the gold standard by, yeah, seeing getting the enemy appear. Obviously, I may be able to pull this off without this one. I switched to Rush Jet and then picked the wrong weapon on that one, so I probably could have done this with 20 if I'd actually not done the wrong thing. I picked the wrong weapon there again, by the way, as well. But honestly, this is so bloody hard to do quickly. I think I'd have to practice this to a ridiculous extent to be able to think, okay, I know immediately which stage, of Rush Claw selection again there, but I'd have to, to recognise exactly immediately which stage this appears in, what weapon is good, because there's a lot of things to think about. It's mostly, okay, which stage does appear in, firstly, which stage does this enemy mostly appear in? Okay, which weapon of Robot Master weapon is the boss weak to? And then that's the one to think. So it's like a multi-stage thing as well. So this is bloody hard. I figure this would take, again, wrong weapon selection all over the place, which is easy to do as well. But yeah, without seriously doing this, without this pause trick where it basically stalls the timer, gives me time to think, to see the enemy that's appeared on screen, and then think, okay, now I know which weapon I need to do. Again with the Rush Claw select, blimey. Yeah, see which enemy appears on screen, and just take that time while the game's paused to recognise which weapon I need to select. But boy, without that is a hell of a thing. As you see there, I mean, a lot of Rush selects there and a few ones that weren't actually correct, and I got 19. So without that, I might have even actually got to my 22 that I got previously. But yeah, man, that is a difficult challenge if you want to do that completely legit. I hold my hands up fully. I mean, yeah, because the replay didn't show it. Obviously, the replay was the gold standard 22. Well, I actually wanted to, for full disclosure, show how I did that, or how I actually got the 22, because the replay doesn't show the pausing and me pausing it. It just sort of shows it as one continuous thing. So yeah, that is how I did that, and it was still a pain. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all it is for this video. Yeah, as I said, showing off the boss, or not, or at least activating the boss rush here. So showing that off. You get a boss rush which is like on superhero mode if you complete boss rush as well. So yeah, basically it's time attack mode featuring 8 stage bosses. So yeah, we've all seen that. There's nothing really new to add to that. So yeah, I won't bother doing that. But you do unlock a superhero version of the boss rush, if you will, just all on normal difficulty. When you I presume either complete that or maybe get gold standard. I'm not quite sure actually. Obviously, I haven't done it yet. I will do at some point in time, because I'll be wanting to get all these gold medals. Or you can bet your ass I want to be going through this game and getting all the gold medals, because yeah, that's just me. That's my personality. Going for 100% completion here. I'll also be going back at some point in time and getting all the Steam achievements for some of these ones I haven't got yet. I haven't got many left, admittedly, but yeah, there are a few I haven't yet got. But yeah, I think that is it for this video, showing off the shop and the remaining items there, and showing off a fair selection of the challenges here. Not time attack, not score attack, and not some of the like time attacks on the mid bosses, or indeed the boss rush, because I don't think those are ones particularly interesting. But yeah, showing off all the ones that I think do have something extra to talk about. But of course, that does leave one left: Dr. Light's Trial. And that one, since it takes quite a while in itself to complete, I figure was probably a good way to finish. So yeah, next time, Dr. Light's Trial, and that will be the final video in this Let's Play. Cheerio.